Hey everyone, welcome to today's take with the market mindset. It's Andrew. Happy to see you all here. We're going to try to keep this one a bit of a short one, but very interesting. We're going to talk about what's been developing as far as nuclear and uranium in the States. Big announcement from the Trump administration as we move forward in this kind of shift of all types of energy and energy independence that we like to talk about. But before that, I want to jump in because there's a couple results. I like to come back to this every once in a while to the mining hub. And today there was a couple of results that are worth kind of throwing out there just for people to take a look at. Once again, nothing more than this is just the returns, the width. But Southern Cross Gold consolidated 466.4 grams per ton over 3.4 meters. Pretty good. Don't know the details as to that hole, but that's pretty nice hole. And then Orosur Mining, their Anza project, 10.15 grams per ton over 59 meters. That's very impressive. And we'll throw in there as well a big result from First Majestic Silver, 1898 grams per ton silver over 6.81 meters. And Canada Nickel Company had a 0.27% nickel over 711 meters. So those are some great results. Of course, we still got a challenging junior market, a very challenging Canadian economy. But those are great. It's good to see. And once again, more and more of the world is coming to terms with the absolute critical need for all of these metals. And a big part of this story that we wanted to focus on, because we talk about uranium and nuclear all the time, is to look at an announcement that came out regarding, Trump's administration picks a winner. They're looking to bolster their domestic energy production, and they've approved Anfield Energy's Velvet Wood Uranium and Vanadium project. This is in southeastern Utah. Now, we've talked with Corey Diaz a number of times. He's been on the show over the years. The stock hasn't done a lot, but we really liked it for a number of reasons. A, they have a relationship with UEC. There was a deal kind of talked about last year with ISO Energy. But right now, all in the bigger context of they've got a mill, and that's a big deal. Anfield's got a mill sitting there. They're getting it done right now, getting it refurbished and getting up and running. And we kind of looked at it and thought, no one's paying attention to this company with a lot of good projects that are short-term. And some of them they actually got, I believe, from Uranium One as well. So these are good projects in the U.S. that would be short-term, and they've got a mill. So for me, if you wanted a junior or a smaller company that had potential asymmetric upside, to me, it seemed like a pretty good one. And believe me, we're going to try to see if we can get Corey on to give us all the details. But this is a big deal because Anfield Energy is a Canadian listed company with this U.S. project. And they have their plans are pretty good. It's let me just get to some of the here. Built in 1980, the mill commenced operations in 1982, but it's been off for the time being, and they're getting it refurbished right now. But this, Doug Burgum emphasized the strategic importance of expediting the approval of this whole project with Anfield he says, by streamlining the review process for critical minerals projects like Velvet Wood, we're reducing dependence on foreign adversaries and ensuring our military, medical, and energy sector have the resources they need to thrive. This is huge. This is great. And there's going to be a lot of other Canadian companies with Canadian boards and leadership that have U.S. projects that are going to look quite favorable because we're easy to deal with, and we want to get work done. We're well known in the world for mining, so we're a natural partner. And this is a huge win for Anfield. Now, is it being reflected in the stock? No, but I think we're paying a lot more attention to it because there's a reason why they pick projects, and it's because of the project. And I would assume, in part, we'll find out from Corey, of this mill. That's a big key thing that they've got sitting there. And it's very exciting because Corey's a great guy. We always loved having him on. He's a genuine good person, which as far as business goes, doesn't really make a difference. But to me, it does. We like to chat with people that are really good people as well as smart and have good projects. But it's a big deal. And we see also what does that mean for all the nuclear stories out there? Well, those get much more of the attention, right? The nuclear stories, their technology, those are the ones that your Kathy Wood is going to talk about. All of your billionaires are involved in. We've gone over that a million times. We've got all sorts of reports that you can go onto our Substack and check out. Literally, each billionaire is involved in some sort of either fusion or SML, small modular reactor, SMR, reactor. Very few are necessarily directly involved in any kind of uranium mining. But once again, that's because your mining is difficult and you don't get as much of a PR boost talking about mining as you do with actual technology and the big idea of, well, we're doing the cleanest and safest energy, even though it's divisive and nuclear is always there's a lot of propaganda, let's just say. But it is, if you like data and evidence and say you are a big fan of science, it is the cleanest and safest. It's expensive, sure. But I would argue if we sat down and looked at the numbers of all the money gifted to renewables, how much more expensive? I don't know. And also, a lot of that expense, that's going to regulatory. China's able to put up nuclear reactors at a blistering pace for lots of reasons we've talked about before. But part of the biggest issue dealing with anything in the West, so that's US, Canada, you name it, is going to be government. That's your number one, followed by their support or their handling of NGOs and third-party special interest groups. If that is the main focus of the government to cater to special interest groups, you're not going to get anything done. The flip side of that is someone who doesn't listen at all to, say, an environmentalist or NGO and just goes ahead and does projects. Nobody wants that either. That's not a good model moving forward. But China certainly has fit a good model in which they meet the international standards that they're required to. They're not going to go bend over backward to sign on to any accord or commit to anything more than just kind of on paper or just the words. But they will do things to the set minimum standard and get them done for the most part. And that's important, and because they have a grand vision and they're making it happen. Now, as far as the nuclear side, Cameco, it's bolstered quite a bit on news of this. Well, we've seen the last month, it's done quite well. Cameco is interesting because, of course, it's one of the world's leading uranium producers. It's gone up, I think, 10% in May alone. But if you remember, it is also vertically integrated. So it produces now reactors as well through one of its subsidiaries that when they bought Westinghouse along with Brookfield last year or 2 years ago. My time frames are getting kind of mushed in, but it wasn't that long ago. So they're very interesting, unique, because they are set up to be fully vertically integrated. And that's a very interesting long-term appealing discussion. Now, for some analysts, they might say that's actually not appealing because we like to have people to have just a focus. They're just mining, that they're not also doing reactors and the science, the engineering. I would argue that it's a great pairing because you need one to have the other. And Westinghouse, it comes with its own team and its own kind of management and everything. It's going to be self-supporting and running, and I see it's a good marriage of the two. And I think we might see more of that with battery metals and miners moving forward, of saying, we're going to latch on to you as our key provider of phosphoric acid, of nickel, of whatever, and that there'd be more synergy there. And that would actually help the market and help PR and visibility and everything else. Because quite frankly, we have to get red tape, government out, and do things to a standard that the world respects and admires, but also to solve the problems that everybody wants to solve. We can look at Oklo as well. The stock has gone up about 150% year to date. So for this year again, and 127% of that was just in May alone. And they focus on SMRs. There is Centrus Energy as well. They're up about 20% for the month off this news. NewScale, which they had a disastrous IPO. It really got hammered and pulled back. They have actually, recovered quite a bit, but has gone up 15% as well. And there's obviously a number of other ones that have done well, but it does bode well to see this interest again. in finding clean energy. And it shows that there's a commitment by the current U.S. administration that it isn't just drill, baby, drill, and we're just going to do oil and we're just going to do gas and we're just going to do this. Is that no, they're looking at all feasible scientific and economic plans that make sense. And it is smart in the sense that you want to be able to have control of your own destiny, and that means having energy. Canada has a situation right now where it looks like they might be open to that. Like they're kind of getting there. It's hard to, every day it's kind of back and forth and we won't know for certain, but certainly we've seen some indications from the Liberals that they're open to considering more pipelines, more drilling. And of course, Alberta is not going to just sit on their butt and just wait for them to decide. And nor should they. But BC, much more difficult. Any of these kind of, and once again, I want to try, any of these far left areas, and Canada is far left as a whole, but I mean extremely far left, you're going to have a hard time doing any economic business at all, but especially any kind of extraction business. And it doesn't matter why that is. It just simply is. It always has been. And that's just how it goes. But hopefully the pragmatic and intelligent people that are even on some of that side will come to the fray and say, listen, we have to give an inch. Like, listen, not only does it make sense for Canada as a country, but if you actually believe in the whole climate narrative, you have to mine. There is no way around it. And just closing your eyes and saying, do it somewhere else, that doesn't fit into the narrative, for one, because whatever happens 1,000 miles away does affect the environment, does in some small effect here, and sometimes in a large effect. Emissions coming out of India and China have just as much effect on the world as the minuscule amount of emissions that come out of Canada. So lots of great things happening. Wanted to point that out because hopefully we're seeing a model from the States of pushing projects through, getting them done, and doing the work, like actually taking action to get work done rather than setting up committees, setting up funds, setting up reports to discuss whether or not we should do something. And it isn't from lack of planning. I want to just make sure for those that aren't familiar with the industry, that is done to ad nauseum in mining. The amount of studies that are done regarding water, the environment, land use, it's huge. It isn't that there's any shortcuts. There's zero shortcuts. This is saying, let's not keep on duplicating and triple or exponentially redoing things over and over, in part because an NGO wants to be paid off, or they've been funded by X other group, or it's some other energy company that doesn't want this project to go forward. All of that exists in this realm. You can find all sorts of sources. There's great books out there that talk about how a lot of these NGOs have unknowingly been funded by, I won't mention, energy companies to attack other energy companies. And they think, oh, great, I'm getting funded by some family office in Utah that's willing to give us $10 million to go protest XYZ. They don't know that they're being funded by someone in the energy space. Say it was oil and gas or nuclear or whoever else, or the solar renewable side. These dirty tricks they happen all the time. And they use people for that unknowingly and unbeknownst to them as part of business to stop projects, slow them down. And you can imagine on the greater global scheme of things, if you were the likes of an up and coming world power, you would want to stop the West from developing any projects. You don't want them to be able to have their own supply chain for nuclear, for battery energy metals, for chips, for any technology. Not because you have ill will towards them, but just strategically. Like, no. If we're processing and producing all of them here, that's a good bargaining, a trade discussions. It's just good for negotiations. It's common sense. So this is what I love about the fun side of this side of the business, because believe me, it with all the factors that come into play, it becomes quite stressful. But you see that it has a geopolitical component to it as far as mining goes, an environmental component. There's an ideological movement as well, and all of that plays equal parts. And it's a fine balance between all of that. And we're hopefully seeing a model come out of the U.S. in which there's at least a chance, because right now there isn't much of a chance. There's at least a chance to be able to have the energy for AI. Let's say blockchain stuff. There's some good stuff there, and certainly any large language model, the data centers, all of this compute power and the chips that are required and needed, because that's the prize right there. Whoever wins that, as far as I think China is the same and US is the same, whoever wins that AI race and corners that kind of part of the world up, they're going to have a massive, significant upside or leverage. I would argue more than energy, more than anything else. But it is all intertwined. And that's what makes this job so fascinating, because you have to kind of have your fingers in all of these things. It isn't just about talking about some mining company that has assay results. That gets the core crew that's interested in junior projects or in development of projects interested, but it doesn't excite anybody who's a generalist. It takes a long while for someone to get really excited just about an assay result. It has to come in the bigger picture of what does it take to bake this cake, to give us this world that we want, to have all the AI, to have all the robots, to have hybrid cars or whatnot, to have more nuclear and cleaner energy. We say it a million times. It means getting this stuff out of the ground and getting it done properly and efficiently. Canada is well known for it, has got a great worldwide reputation, and we just need to be unleashed. And listen, I say that as well. I try to avoid the real hardcore politics stuff, but I have, call me delusional, but I have my fingers crossed that there is hope that there could be a big win coming out of Canada once that pragmatic side says, listen, we know we need to do this. And if they come on board, if that Liberal Party comes on board, say Carney comes on board and acknowledges the reality, Canada could be in for a massive win. And that, I think, a lot of things get forgiven whenever someone turns the economy around. So let's live in the world of hope where that can happen, rather than like worrying that it won't, because it's no fun to wake up every day and say, oh, it's not going to happen. I've spent a lot of my life doing that. It's a lot easier focusing on, yes, but it could. And there are indications that it might. And we see things like this coming out of the States. It's a good model for someone to look and go, guess what? They're doing it. So let's take this as a win. Look forward to chatting with you again. We've got lots of great guests coming up. There's lots happening. Believe me, you think that coming into summer, it would get quieter. I don't think so. I think it's going to be very busy. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be reflected in the stock market in any way, shape, or form. Canada's got a long way to go, but we definitely see a lot of activity. There's lots of good things happening, and there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of people talking and a lot of people looking at stuff. So anyways, everyone, I love all the comments. I love you guys reaching out. Keep doing it. And we look forward to chatting more with you. And make sure you join our Substack. We got lots of free articles. One of the articles that is in the paid subscription, that stock has done exceptionally well since November of just last year before Christmas. It's had an exceptional rate of return. That's the type of stuff we want to share with people, these stories that are big wins. And we feel like there's a lot of big wins coming forward over the next 6 months and year as well. So thanks to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Get out there, enjoy a little bit of sun. All the best. We'll see you soon.